This is KGW News at noon.
We start today's news at noon with a looming teacher strike in the Salem-Keizer School District. The union representing teachers in that district declared an impasse in negotiations. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. I'm Drew Carney. We talked to the district superintendent today and asked her about where things stand here. We know the two sides have been negotiating for over 9 months and have been in mediation now for the past week. Some of the biggest sticking points involve issues with pay, class sizes, and job definitions for some full-time employees. Superintendent Andrea Castaneda says the tone and stakes changed dramatically after the union declared that impasse last night. She's been saying for months now that the district has to make budget cuts and can't afford to add staff to lower class sizes.
What's hard right now is that we have negative $32 million.
KGW's Thomas Schultz is getting reaction from the teachers union right now. He's going to bring us a full report covering both sides coming up later this afternoon on the news at 4. Some parents in the Portland Public School District are voicing their frustration after damage from last month's winter storms forced the district to send their kids to other schools in the city. So these pictures we're going to show you right here show what it's like right now for Robert Gray middle school students. They're learning in makeshift classrooms set up in common areas like the halls and library at Jackson Middle School. Robert Gray and Markham Elementary, both in Southwest Portland, were badly damaged by last month's weather. Just this week, the district handed down an announcement saying that both schools would be closed for the rest of the school year because asbestos in the flooring, ceilings, and drywall has slowed down repairs.
Now that we know that Gray is going to be closed for longer, I think they need to do a better job to shore up and make sure that all the teachers have the right kind of facilities to actually create a learning environment for kids.
The school district says it's working right now to get portable classrooms to help out with the overcrowding issues, and will also hold a meeting next week to work on other possible solutions. All right, before we throw it over to Rod Hill, a look outside, a live look from our Cannon Beach Sky Cam this afternoon. Nice day along the Oregon coast. So, Rob, we've got the pictures there, but we also have the story of wind this afternoon around the area.
We do. Actually, east winds going all the way to the beach and adding a chill to the air. Now, the advisory itself for the higher wind speeds is limited to the North Willamette Valley, which is basically the Portland Metro, including out into Washington County. And then across the Columbia up into Clark County, there's battleground. Now, so far, the east winds are adding a chill, but I have not seen any what I would call extreme gust. Here's where we are right now. These are sustained wind speeds. Look at Troutdale, just sustained to 16. We have not seen winds gusting more than 30 yet out at the mouth of the gorge right there. Fremont Bridge, a little up in elevation, of course, picking up a 23 mile per hour sustained wind. So again, that's adding a chill, and it's noticeable, but it's not into the advisory area yet in terms of speed. 31 is the sustained wind out at PDX. That's a little bit higher. Here's a look at Drew showed you Cannon Beach. This is the Chinook Winds Casino Resort Cam in Lincoln City. A little blue right there. We are hoping for some thinning of the cloud cover with some partly sunny times this afternoon. We will be dry. That was Stiller Family Vineyard Estate. Temperatures haven't done much. Portland's 42. Thought it would start to warm up a little bit more in Salem. A little bit, but not much yet. Salem is at 45 degrees. So it's a dry afternoon. A lot of clouds. The chill of that east wind blowing. And temperatures holding generally in the low to mid 40s. Rain chances pick up overnight tonight, and of course we'll have that complete forecast for the weekend coming up.
All right, thank you for that, Rod. We also want to take a minute here to apologize for a deeply offensive and racist image that inadvertently appeared on KGW. The image aired last night during our 7 p.m. show, The Good Stuff. We invited viewers to submit photos to our social media accounts for a Throwback Thursday segment. One of the photos that made it on the air by mistake showed kids throwing balls at a sign that prominently displayed the N-word. The photo was automatically pulled from a comment on our Facebook page. No one here screened it. We have a policy to screen all viewer-submitted photos, but yesterday we failed to follow that policy. Excuse me. We deeply regret this mistake. We also understand it hurt many of you, in particular our black viewers and staff members. Both last night and today, we've been engaging with black community leaders and also viewers to apologize for this mistake and to explain the steps that we're taking to make sure that this never happens again. KGW is committed to being inclusive and compassionate, but we failed you in this instance. For that, we are sincerely sorry. Let's get to our next local headline here this afternoon. It comes from Nike. The company says it's laying off approximately 2% of its workforce. According to a letter sent to employees, the first round of layoffs will start as early as today and will continue next week. We know it was just 2 months ago that Nike announced a major $2 billion cost-saving plan. It remains one of the region's largest employers, with more than 15,000 workers living in the Portland and Southwest Washington areas. One of our top international headlines today comes from Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin's fiercest foes has died in prison. Alexei Navalny crusaded for years against corruption and the Kremlin. Navalny went to prison in 2021 and was serving a 19-year sentence that he called politically motivated. His wife spoke today at a security conference in Germany.
We should fight this horrific regime in Russia today. This regime and Vladimir Putin should be personally held responsible for all the atrocities they have committed in our country the last years. Thank you.
So the U.S. is still working to confirm his death, but Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is already on the record saying this news underscores the weakness and the rot, in his words, of the system built by Putin. Authorities have officially charged 2 teenagers in connection with this week's mass shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Police initially detained 3 people, but have since determined that one of them wasn't actually involved. Juvenile court cases are largely kept private under Missouri law, and those hearings are not open to the public. The shooting killed a mother of 2 and injured 22 other people. Back here in Portland, there's frustration over a dangerous stretch of road around Southeast 97th and Woodstock. A man was hit and killed while walking in that area just earlier this month. The city has talked about safety upgrades there for years now, but work crews still haven't broken any ground. KGW's Alma McCarty looked into why that work hasn't started.
This is the area of Southeast Woodstock Boulevard near 97th Avenue. Back on February 4th, around 5:45 in the evening, police say that there was a man trying to cross the street here, but he was hit by a car and killed. PPB's major crash team responded to the Lentz neighborhood soon after. Officers say the driver of the vehicle remained on scene and cooperated with investigators. This week, police identified the pedestrian as 71-year-old Thomas Amato. As first reported in Willamette Week, this very spot is up for safety improvements, from sidewalk upgrades to enhanced pedestrian crossings, as shown in these PBOT renderings.
What you have in this area is a pretty critical mix of uses that's a deadly recipe.
Sarah Iannarone, executive director of the Street Trust, explains there's a lot going on here between nearby I-205 traffic ramps, excessive speeding, bus stops, and foot traffic.
So you pair all these various uses with the lack of safe infrastructure for people walking and biking, especially trying to cross these streets where traffic is moving at high speeds. And unfortunately, fatalities like that are hugely predictable. As you know, the city for over 6 years has promised to make investments here to keep people safe, and they haven't done it.
PBOT claims there's a reason for that, and it all comes down to funding.
This is what happens when you have a transportation department that is cutting its budget year after year.
Spokesperson Dylan Rivera acknowledges the delays, but says they haven't abandoned the project, citing 60% completion on design plans.
We've been accomplishing a lot of work on this Woodstock project, given limited funding, given changing federal requirements and rules, given the difficulty of a global pandemic, given the difficulty of inflation, which has reduced the purchasing power of this project's budget.
PBOT plans to begin construction sometime this year. In Southeast Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.